What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. We're on some MX bikes as we usually are most days, and today's one is just a little bit different. Just not much of a like, oh, this is a new track release, etc. We're just going down memory lane a little bit today. So straight off the bat, if you are slightly newer to the game in the last year or so, then you probably have no clue what track this is. This is the 2010 version of Uddevalla, and this is created by JV. It was his second ever track release on the game. It's completely free. I will link it for you in the description down below if you are yet to play it. However, this is one of the first tracks for me that kind of really blew me away at the time, and I think the video that I released when this track first came out was something along the lines of the most realistic track in the game, and it is still really high up there in my opinion, because whilst we do have like really good replicas in terms of the visuals and the track map as well these days, I think in terms of the scaling too, this track is more one-to-one than anything else. That is exactly why I'm riding a 125 today on the KTM 125. For those who were wondering, it's not like a 144 or anything, just straight up standard. Well, I say standard, it's not standard. I actually have a suspension on this for a change. Thank you, Mr. Breezy, very much. During them elimination races, sending me a suspension my way. But I've got very fond memories on this track and on 125s in general on this game. I think one of my most favourite, I guess, battles ever, and one of the performances that I was most happy with myself with, was a race in the European Masters 125 series on this track against none other than Mr. Hurls himself. We had a very good battle going back and forth. I can't remember if I won or he won, to be completely honest with you. I'd have to go back. It was live streamed, but trying to dig through all the live streams and find that one particular one is going to be a pain in the bum to do. So I probably won't be able to link that, which I apologise for. But it's got me sitting here and just reminiscing and wondering, like, has bikes gone in a bad direction in terms of the racing side of things? Because I feel like nobody does too much for fun anymore. I think everything's very serious, and I think the way that I race this game is different to how other people do in terms of how I want racing to be done. So I strolled through my MXB last night, just kind of seeing what series were about. There's a hell of a lot of amateur series at the moment, to be fair. So for you AMS guys, you've got an abundance of series to choose from. From the people who have scored pro points ever, not so much. We can't really compete in them series at all, which is it's a bit of a shame. But one thing that was worth noting is first of all, they're all serious, but so there's no, I guess, like weird one-off fun tracks at all, or like on different sorts of bikes, as in riding the 125s or like a pit bike series, something like that. However, alongside that, when I would load up each of the series and look at the information, etc., it always had predetermined tracks like in advance, which I hate that aspect of racing, is when a track has been out for a very long time and then you also let the competitors know what the track's going to be multiple days in advance, because it just ends up being a competition on who could spend the most time practicing the track, rather than, you know, kind of picking things up quickly on the day. How I like to approach the racing, which is why most of the time these days I only really compete in the aerial stuff, is because the track gets released 30 minutes prior to qualifying starting, so you've only got a very limited amount of time to firstly learn the track and then get good at it, find the lines, so on and so forth. What used to happen back in the day, which I think used to be a much more fun way of going about things, is, well, there's two ways you can do it. You release a list of, say, 10-ish or so tracks at the beginning of a series, so everyone can go and download them, everyone can go and play them to their heart's content, but there's always a chance that the track that you get in the week might not be the track that you've spent the most time on. What used to happen is about 30 minutes or an hour before qualifying would start, they'd spin a random wheel in Discord and it would land on a track, and that is the track you'd be racing on that day. And I kind of miss that way of going about doing things and having that randomness and that excitement on what track it was going to be, and then the mad rush once the wheel would spun, everyone quickly loading up bikes and trying to get that track or downloading that track if they didn't have it already, and then spinning as many laps as possible. And I miss it. I think I said in Discord last night, after the after basically the rerun of the 250 race in Detroit, I was kind of like, can we bring back the EMS 125 series, please? Because to this day, it's still one of the most fun series that I ever took part in, and we are missing a good two-stroke series on this game. And I mean, you get one here or there, you get the occasional two-stroke race, but again, they're on tracks where it's just a grind fest. You know, we already know the tracks. So if we could turn back the hands of time to, say, like 2 years ago, I 100% would do. I really, really would, because I feel like that's when the game was at its most fun for me. And these days, I do still enjoy the game, but it's got very, very competitive. I think that's just because of the general community now has got slightly younger with how well MX Bikes does on YouTube and TikTok and everything, and it just kind of promotes it to a different audience. And I think the younger audience take the game a lot more seriously or invest the time needed to get a lot better at it. So with more competition comes faster riders, comes people wanting to get even faster than that, and it's just a massive snowball effect of people wanting to get better and better. But if there is any way we can get some of the fun back into this game through series and such, I'd be there straight away. I'd be there in a heartbeat, live streaming it for you, which has kind of got me thinking about hosting my own series. The issue is, which most people don't realise, is if for whatever reason your series gets somewhat popular and you have to run maybe like 4 or so servers at a time, it ends up getting quite expensive because you have to rent those servers out for each month. So I might see if there's any way I can be gifted a few servers, and then I might see what I can do behind the scenes to work on a series for you guys, because I was brainstorming a few ideas, and this is all just off the top of my head. This isn't like happening just yet. Nothing's come to fruition. I haven't even started building yet. But one thing that could be quite a cool concept is if we finally get a good like pit bike series on pit bike tracks, you know, smaller scale tracks, well, wide tracks, so you can still fit like 30 or so people in, but just, you know, smaller scaling. And when I say pit bikes, I don't mean the standard ones that come with the game that are still fairly slow and I guess a bit sketchy in terms of the handling. They're very, very obviously small wheel-based, so they're very, very twitchy. I mean more like I guess like the big bore CRF 110s and stuff that you have on MXB mods as well, because they're very, very fast bikes, but they are really, really fun to ride as well. And a series on things like that I think would be good fun. We done an Enduro series last year. Thank you to the boys at Ace Moto helping host that, or I mean, saying helping, they did host that. I was just the face or the name attached to it, and that was one of my most favourite series to take part in. I feel like it put a bunch of eyes onto Enduro where people might not have been interested in it before. So if we could do that again, even if it's from a 125 series or pit bike series or the CRF 110 big bore series, I think it would bring a little bit more fun back into the game. I really, really do, because I do miss it. I miss it quite a lot, and just to bring back that whole randomness aspect as well, I think will be quite fun, so people can't sit there and grind non-stop, because this is the issue that happens with AMS right now, at least for Aerial, where AMS keeps getting put to the day after track release. It is just a case of who can run the most laps and get the fastest at the track, rather than using your skill of the game and then your, I guess, racecraft, if that makes sense, to do as well as you possibly can do. There's just little nitpicks there, and I'm not trying to dig anybody out, because you kind of get out what you put into the game. I can't hate on people spending time playing something that they really enjoy playing. That used to be me. You know, I used to spend probably maybe like 80 hours or so every 2 weeks on this game in the first year that I had it. It's died down a lot less now. I think I'm sitting at about 40 or so right now, and I would still consider that somewhat higher, but that's because we're in the full swing of the Supercross season, so I'm trying to practice as much as I can. But, you know, the game's got a lot better since those days. There's a lot less wonkiness. The two-strokes can go a hell of a lot faster. I think they're a lot more capable now. There's certain parts of this track, like the step up over to the right that you saw me hit just now. You'd be lucky if you got over that cleanly back in the day. You'd barely have enough speed to get up and over it, but now I'm almost checking up a little bit on this bike. It's actually crazy, the night and day difference and how fast the game has become. So yeah, just thought I'd waffle a little bit.
For all of you passionate gamers, you can now get 20% off all G Fuel products worldwide by using code LINS at checkout. And for any of you motorheads looking for some new drip or apparel, use code MXPR_LINS15 fxrracing.eu to get 15% off. All links and codes are in the description down below. Enjoy the video and drop a cheeky little like and subscribe.
And I do think there's a whole bunch of tracks out there that have kind of been lost to the sands of time that don't really get used too much. It would be just brilliant tracks for a fun series. Looking at stuff maybe like, you know, 212 Moto Ranch. Obviously this track's a really good one. Linkoping I really enjoy as well. There's a little bit of an issue with Linkoping in some places where they've got collisions on objects. It's quite easy to get stuck in them, so that one could take a little bit of a backseat. But there's got to be so many fun tracks if I go and dig through. I mean, like the Brazilian tracks that I play on streams now and then for live streams, like, you know, just for elimination races, like Marinos or Fagundes Varela would all be good tracks for 125 races, I think. So just, you know, just brainstorming a little bit. Who knows? I mean, watch this space. Your boy might end up hosting his own series. The issue that I have is I would quite like to partake in it myself, and I'm quite aware that hosting and doing a series at the same time can be quite a bit of a challenge. So let's say, even if there's just 2 groups, to be fair, let's say you had enough sign-ups to run 2 qualifying groups. If I'm qualifying in one of them and there's an issue with the other, I basically have to sacrifice all of my qualifying time to then help get that second server remedied and sorted, if that makes sense. So it would require a little bit of a team, and I know there's many people out there to offer their services. But yeah, I just thought I'd brainstorm, and I'm very, very open to other people's ideas of what sort of series they'd like to see in the game. I mean, you could do something very out there like Supermoto. The only issue is how this game handles Supermoto stuff. I think the bike works good for half a lap, and then as soon as you slide out once, all your traction is just gone forever, just the way that the tyres work in the game, which is a little bit of a shame there. But I'm sure there's all sorts of different disciplines and styles of tracks that can be done. But in the top of my head, the 2 that I think would be most beneficial or most fun to bring some fun back to this game is either another 2-stroke series on random tracks, not the free tracks as well, to get everybody involved, nothing paid, and then also a pit bike series on just, I think the tracks have to be new, because there are tracks out there, like Hurren builds a really, really good pit bike track. He's done a couple now, but they're either meshed or mashed in with like a paid compound, or the one that he has done, which is free, which is more of like a arena crossy type vibe. It's got quite limited gate spaces. I think it'd be so much more fun to have 30 plus people on that sort of track. But yeah, I'd love it, and I'm very open to hear what you guys think. And if any of you have been around for like the last 2 years or so and you remember doing the 125 series, I think we can all agree that they were incredibly fun. Gone are the days, unfortunately, of me making a thumbnail in Microsoft Paint that literally takes about 30 seconds in total, which somehow ended up being some of my best performing streams back in the day. I guess people like the meminess / the simplicity of it. And this was back before I even had a decent PC. I remember playing this track and actually having to turn my graphics down a little bit. The 3D roost on this track is, you can see dotted around, it's just kind of like mud and rocks. I had that turned off back in the day because it helps with, well, it was really, really bad for FPS. And yeah, the game's just changed so much, and it's so much more capable now. And I feel like we've just gone down the route of being serious all the time, and I want to bring a little bit of fun back, and I hope everybody else would enjoy that as well. So yeah, that'll probably do it for my waffling and ranting on at you today. Again, open to comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. I will read each and every one of them. And if you enjoyed this video, as always, if you could just drop a cheeky little like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, it'd be very much appreciated. And I hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.
I'm working hard, I'm sacrificing my life, I'm sacrificing my mind, I'm sacrificing my sanity, but most importantly, I'm sacrificing my time. Boy, I feel fine, I feel like I am a king. Honestly, I can't complain, even with faith that's the size of a grain of some salt, I will still move a mountain and do what I want. I got salt to beat with my